Hello, I am Ross Kemp on Gangs, and today I am going to kill the penis suckers.
Alright, I've been over, and I'm the penis sucker.
Time to kill them.
And I can't fucking up.
No, you motherfucker. Gay. I win. Time to teabag. Oh yeah. Time to walk home.
I can't walk.
Time to get in the car. Meep meep. Yo. 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 Yo, what you doing on the floor? Why are you speaking to me? Okay, I'll just walk over. Dimber. Oh, I fell. Yeah. I was Kemp. No! Oh shit, my pants.